When Barbra Streisand released her album Love Is the Answer in 2009, she became the first recording artist ever to achieve #1 albums in 5 consecutive decades. The multi-talented singer, songwriter, actor and filmmaker has broken so many records that she can deservedly be called a phenomenon. Speaking at the Élysée Palace, where she received the Officer of the Legion of Honor Award in 2007, she outlined what it is that keeps her performing.
I leave with a sense of inspiration and responsibility as an artist to always tell the truth, and as a citizen to try and create a world of justice, compassion, equality and peace, one with a little more music and a little more joy. Merci beaucoup.
Although Barbra calls herself the actress who sings, it's her magnificent voice that sets her apart for many of her fans. Beginning life as Barbara, she dropped the A in the 1960s to make her name more distinctive. Her father died when she was only 15 months old, and her mother Diana raised Barbra and her older sister alone. Barbra sang to support her family while she was still a teenager, but her first serious singing gig was at the Lion, a gay bar in Manhattan's Greenwich Village. At the age of 22, her portrait graced the cover of Time magazine, thanks to the runaway success of Funny Girl at the Winter Garden Theatre. The musical introduced 2 songs that would become her signature pieces, People and Don't Rain on My Parade. Highly prolific, Barbra has recorded 35 studio albums, sung in musicals, and appeared in many television music specials. In the 1970s, she was also prominent in the pop charts with a number of top 10 songs. In 1985, she returned to her Broadway roots, and in the 1990s, she took time out from her singing to concentrate on the acting career she had always desired. Her legions of fans were thrilled when she finally announced in 1993 she would hold her first public concerts for 27 years. What began as a New Year's Eve event turned into a multi-city tour that took in England, and British fans were overjoyed to have her all to themselves, although tickets were far from cheap. Barbra was one of the highest paid concert performers in history.
Well, she has a marvellous nose, she's a woman, she's Jewish and she's very rich. What more could you want?
How much did you pay for her ticket?
105, because it was the only one left, but I'd certainly have gone for a lot more. My husband's over there looking at me, but I would have gone for a lot more.
I got my ticket at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I would have queued all night. I came with sleeping bags at the lot.
Barbra has always been an inspiration for up-and-coming performers, especially women. Céline Dion, who won an Academy Award for her Titanic hit My Heart Will Go On, was scheduled to sing with her heroine at the Grammy Awards in 1998. It was to be a much-anticipated meeting of extraordinary voices, but unfortunately Barbra had to cancel due to illness. In 2000, she once again worried her devoted fans by announcing that her upcoming world tour would be her last concert series. Despite her status as one of the most experienced performers in the entertainment industry, she still suffered from terrible pre-concert nerves.
It's so nice to be back home in New York. Thank you so much.
Celebrities joined the throng in New York's Madison Square Garden, the last venue of her mini farewell tour, which had kicked off in Los Angeles only the week before, and everyone was on the edge of their seats.
We've been more excited today almost than we have been for anything else. It means to be a part of history, and to see her in the flesh and to be a part of it is just, there's not going to be another night like this.
Then again, the best-selling female artist of all time had announced her retirement before, only to return for a Millennium New Year's Eve show in Las Vegas. And the Reverend Jesse Jackson spoke for many when he said he hoped he hadn't seen the last of Barbra live.
This cannot be the conclusion. There must be an encore. Between the divine within her and the public outcry on the outside, we demand an encore.
In 2005, she reunited with Barry Gibb from the Bee Gees to record a new CD. They'd originally teamed up in 1980 for the best-selling album Guilty, which won them both Grammy Awards. The first album was recorded in a studio, but this time round the vocals were recorded in one of Barbra's houses overlooking the ocean. To their delight, lightning did strike in the same place twice, with early sales of Guilty Pleasures pushing the album to the #2 spot behind Paul McCartney.
Actually, there was a little reticence, I think, on both of our parts over the years. I think that, you know, sometimes it's nice to hit and run. It's nice to sort of do something that really works and then sort of leave it alone and move on to something else. And I think that was our first way of thinking when we did Guilty. So we weren't really in a hurry to repeat Guilty. The only way we could approach it was to treat it like we were just doing another album again and to try not to think about that first album. And to that extent, I think it worked.
Luckily for her fans, Barbra's retirement from live performing proved short-lived. And in 2006, she was back giving her all in a multi-city tour of the US. She attributed her change of heart to the desire to give something back through the Streisand Foundation.
Money for great charities that I believe in. You know, there's so much to be done in the world today, and certainly even medical research for women and fighting against nuclear proliferation, global warming. So many good things to do in the world that I have to raise money, you know, just call me a charity slut.
Barbra's foundation has spent over $10 million on human rights, environmental campaigns, women's education and other causes close to her heart. When asked about her return to the stage, she acknowledged that age had played a large part in her decision.
I mean, you know, one matures, one gets less afraid, one appreciates the fans and wanting to see me, and I want to give that back. I'm also going because I can raise more money for my foundation.
At the age of 64, she set new gross records in 14 of the American arenas she played. In 2007, a tour of Europe stopped off in Berlin, and concert promoter Peter Schwenkow had to work hard to bring the star to her German fans.
I insisted, I asked repeatedly, I begged, I pleaded, and I made a good offer. I've known her manager for more than 10 years, and we always jokingly said, it's never going to happen. But now it has, thank God.
Barbra finished this concert series in London. Tickets went on sale for between £50 and £1,500, but none of her loving fans complained.
I haven't performed here since 1994, when I began my first concert tour, and now I'm ending my first European tour in the same city, so that there's a lovely kind of symmetry, right? So, oh, thank you, and thank you so much for coming out tonight to welcome me back so warmly. Thank you.
Barbra's first film was a celluloid version of her musical hit Funny Girl. At the UK premiere, she mixed with high-class company, with royalty joining the throng to see the young star. Princess Margaret and Lord Snowdon were thrilled to meet Barbra and her co-star Omar Sharif. At just 24, she already had the bearing of a more experienced actor. But what was clear, even at this point in her career, was that she had outstanding discipline and was always willing to take creative risks. That bravery won her an Academy Award for Best Actress. She continued to act in comedies, dramas and musicals throughout the 70s, but after the disappointing All Night Long in 1981, she decided to take more control. In 1983, Barbra directed, produced and starred in the musical Yentl. and the film received 5 Academy Award nominations. In 1996, she took on multiple roles in The Mirror Has Two Faces. Produced and directed by Barbra, the romantic comedy starred her as a frumpy professor of romantic literature who changes her ways for her new husband. Critics were wary of her apparent megalomania and lukewarm about her filmmaking ability, but her fans responded with their usual enthusiasm. Jeff Bridges starred as Barbra's love interest.
It's the kind of film that I like to watch. It's a mixture of comedy and drama, and it's got a lot of soul to it. The same guy who wrote The Fisher King, Richard LaGravenese, wrote this film. And it's the storyline's nothing like it, but it's that same type of mixture of the drama and comedy, and it's got that spirit.
Barbra had assembled a stellar cast including Lauren Bacall and Mimi Rogers, who rubbished rumours that working with Barbra was difficult.
Challenging and inspirational and exciting and exhilarating and, more fun than you should be paid for.
In a star-filled night, many of Hollywood's finest turned out to grace the red carpet and support Barbra, perhaps looking for a job on her next project.
There are so many messages in this movie. There are so many relationships that are explored between men and women, between sisters, between parents, between daughters, mothers and daughters. I'm freezing. I should put on my coat. But I think that you have to go and see it. It's just a wonderful movie, and it touches on many subjects. Beauty being one of them, obviously.
Barbra's first acknowledgement from the Hollywood Foreign Press Association had come in the form of a Golden Globe for her first film, Funny Girl. In 2002, she was honoured again with the Cecil B. DeMille Award. In recognition of her staggering achievements, the award was given for outstanding contribution to the entertainment field. Barbra was thrilled to join an illustrious list of winners like Sean Connery, Dustin Hoffman, Shirley MacLaine and Jack Nicholson.
Cecil B. DeMille Award goes to Barbra Streisand.
By next year, you've all forgotten that I received this award. I promise you I'll understand, and I'll always have this to remind me of this very special honor. Thank you.
A new generation of filmgoers will perhaps only know Barbra through her role in Meet the Fockers, the sequel to the runaway comedy hit Meet the Parents. After 8 years' absence from the screen, Barbra played the eccentric mother of Ben Stiller in a larger-than-life role which had echoes of Barbra's own strong character. The actress had recently endured minor surgery to remove a polyp from her colon and told the assembled press that she was persuaded to do the film by the director and producer Jay Roach.
It was time to be funny, and they just really wanted me to be in it, that it was Ben wanted to be his mom and Jay wanted it directly, and I just thought, what the hell? I didn't have to work 5 days a week, so it wasn't.
Good experience.
It was fun, yeah.
Ben Stiller had featured in the first film, and he was adamant that his on-screen parents prove a good match for his obsessive father-in-law-to-be, played by Robert De Niro. He was very happy that Barbra and Dustin Hoffman agreed.
Just because they're such great actors, and they, the parts were written for them, so.
Dustin recounted that one of the best things about making the film was the story behind the controversial title.
No, we always said fucker. We used it, and the studio would not let them use the title. I don't know if you know it, until he found a family that was named Fokker, and they had to go to Canada, and they found a Canadian family that was named Fokker, F-O-C-K-E-R, and then they found a family that there are a few families called Fokker, which was the Dutch. There's a Dutch. You've heard this? It's spelled F-O-K-K-E-R, Fokker. But what kind of excites me more than anything is that they actually found some fuckings.
You're making that up, right?
No, I am not making that up.
In 2007, France awarded Barbra its highest honour to a foreigner, an officer of the Legion of Honour. President Nicolas Sarkozy, the Legion's Grand Master, waxed lyrical in his speech.
Vous êtes très importante en France parce que vous êtes une artiste extraordinaire.
You're very important in France because you are a remarkable artist.
Mais les compliments, on les comprend dans toutes les langues.
And you understand, but you can understand compliments in all languages, actually.
Parce que votre voix touche le cœur de tous les Français.
And you're important because your voice actually touches the heart of all the French.
Et parce que vous êtes l'Amérique que nous aimons, nous les Français.
Barbra is one of only very few entertainers to receive Golden Globe, Oscar, Tony, Emmy, Grammy and Peabody Awards. But she was especially touched by this award from a country that puts culture first.
So I am deeply honored to be joining the playwrights, the heads of state, the artists and leaders who have accepted this honor before me. They are individuals who have made an indelible mark on the world, and I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for including me.
Previous offers of the Legion of Honor from the entertainment industry have included director David Lynch and actor-director Clint Eastwood. With such a busy work schedule, it may come as a surprise that Barbra has a rich life away from the recording studio and film set. Her first marriage was to actor Elliot Gould. However, this ended in 1971. Barbra took a very long time to take the plunge again. Notoriously private, she was linked to many eligible men during this time, including Andre Agassi, Ryan O'Neal, Don Johnson and the Canadian Prime Minister. This all ended in 1998 when she married actor James Brolin. The lavish and intimate sunset ceremony took place on the 1st of July, 2 years to the day after they met. James's son Josh was best man. Although Barbra and her beau opted for a traditional ceremony with the bride in white, there's not much about the Jewish dynamo which is old-fashioned. Politically liberal with a small L, Barbra has been outspoken in her support of Democratic politicians. She's also shown a great deal of bravery by speaking publicly on controversial and unpopular topics. In 2004, when the US government was Republican through and through, she was honored by the Human Rights Council and took a moment to state her case.
Whether you're a heterosexual couple or a same-gender couple, everybody has the right to love and be loved. That's what's important, to strengthen families, whether they're gay families, heterosexual families. It's about commitment and a sense of obligation. And to strengthen society, you have to strengthen the family. Well, there are all different kinds of families these days, right?
Her old friend Liza Minnelli was also present and was impressed by Barbra's commitment.
I just love her. I love her because she's just so feisty. And she is a political animal. She really is. She understands it, she's studied it, and she cares a great deal about it. I care about it too. I do my thing in my own way with benefits and with things, and I'm more behind the scenes. But she's right out there in front.
Barbra had some strong advice for her fellow Americans regarding the forthcoming election, and she was wary that causes like gay marriage could divide votes.
Yeah, I think that we have to be careful not to let it be used as a political tool in an election year, because it can be very divisive. So it needs, it's like what they did with gays in the military with President Clinton. It kind of hung around him for 8 years, and somehow we can't let that happen, because it's this is a very, very important election. I think it's pretty scary that all houses of government, the White House, the judicial, the House of Representatives, the Senate, are all Republican, so that there are no checks and balances. And people have to think about the power and the abuse of power that comes with that.
It was no surprise then to find her and her husband at a John Kerry rally. With her fame comes influence, and she knows that her public watch her to see who she supports and may themselves follow. And she was in good company.
We're grateful to each of you. Barbra, Willie, Billy. Where else? Stand up, come on, and just let everybody say thank you, please. Come on. Barbra, you hate it. Don't do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Where'd Willie go? He was here a minute ago. Neil, thank you.
In fact, Barbra got herself into hot water at a concert in 2006 when she was performing a comedy sketch with a George W. Bush impersonator. In response to some heckling from the crowd, she swore, a slip of the tongue which made all the major papers and television shows. For many of her fans, her forthrightness only increased her cachet. Barbra's Jewish heritage is important to her, and a version of the Australian national anthem is among her recordings. But she counts herself among Hollywood's left wing and is not always sympathetic to Israeli policy. In 2006, many stars and directors put their signatures to a letter published in the LA Times, condemning Hezbollah and Hamas attacks on Israel. Barbra's name was strikingly absent, as were Steven Spielberg's and Woody Allen's. In 2007, the day after her first ever Berlin performance, she made an unusual stopover. The 1st of July was her wedding anniversary, but Barbra and James visited the Jewish Museum for what must have been a somber visit. Barbra's immense popularity has made her music, films and possessions highly collectible, and in 2005, an exhibition of more than 1,000 separate items from all stages of her career opened at the Hollywood Museum in Los Angeles. Items included sheet music, record sleeves, gowns, her personal wardrobe, and even a replica life-size doll with a pregnant belly, made by a makeup artist. In 2007, another distinctive Barbra outfit went on display, this time as part of a private show in the lobby of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. The convener of the exhibition, a celebration of Oscar fashion, tracked down each iconic outfit, and Barbra's stunning sequined pantsuit was included. She wore the controversial outfit in 1969, as she stepped up to receive her Oscar for Best Actress in Funny Girl. Recently, Barbra had a big clear-out, and no doubt serious collectors the world over were dusting off their checkbooks. With houses in Beverly Hills, Malibu and New York City, and 67 years worth of stuff, she decided to put over 400 items up for sale, the proceeds to go to her favorite charities. Although she admits that she loves collecting, Barbra would rather see someone else take pleasure in her things. Items going under the hammer included dresses and gowns, furniture, rugs, fur coats, paintings, wigs, books, and a Yamaha baby grand piano. The goods filled over 280 pages of an auction catalogue, with prices starting as low as $100 for toys. One of her wigs from the 1970 musical On a Clear Day You Can See Forever sold for $3,500, while an outfit from Meet the Fockers sold for the same price.
Come on!
The musical introduced two songs that would become her signature pieces, People and Don't Rain on My Parade. Highly prolific, Barbra has recorded 35 studio albums, sung in musicals, and appeared in many television music specials. In the 1970s, she was also prominent in the pop charts with a number of top 10 songs. In 1985, she returned to her Broadway roots, and in the 1990s, she took time out from her singing to concentrate on the acting career in the 1960s to make her name more distinctive. Her father died when she was only 15 months old, and her mother Diana raised Barbra and her older sister alone. Barbra sang to support her family while she was still a teenager, but her first serious singing gig was at the Lion, a gay bar in Manhattan's Greenwich Village. At the age of 22, her portrait graced the cover of Time magazine, thanks to the runaway success of Funny Girl at the Winter Garden Theatre.
A sense of inspiration and responsibility as an artist to always tell the truth, and as a citizen to try and create a world of justice, compassion, equality, and peace, one with a little more music and a little more joy. Merci beaucoup.
Although Barbra calls herself the actress who sings, it's her magnificent voice that sets her apart for many of her fans. Beginning life as Barbara, she dropped the A when Barbra Streisand released her album Love Is the Answer in 2009. She became the first recording artist ever to achieve #1 albums in 5 consecutive decades. The multi-talented singer, songwriter, actor and filmmaker has broken so many records that she can deservedly be called a phenomenon. Speaking at the Élysée Palace, where she received the Officer of the Legion of Honor Award in 2007, she outlined what it is that keeps her performing.
I leave with a